Hello, everybody. Max with A1 Website Pro here, and we're going to continue on in our programming. Last time we created a sign-up script with Ajax, jQuery, Bootstrap, and MySQL with PHP. Now that we have that created, what we want to do is we want to make it so that people can log in and log out. So let's get started here. If we scroll down on our page, we're going to navigate and get our LAMP server started up. So you go ahead and start up your SHAMP server, um, whether it be Windows or Mac. And us Linux people, we'll go ahead and start it up on our Linux terminal. So if we fire up a terminal window and we type in ls, we can see that we're in here in the users directory. We want to get back to the root directory where we can see this opt directory, because when we start LAMP, we know it's inside there. So we want to paste in our command to start the LAMP. That's sudo opt lamp, and then start. Next thing we'll have to do is put in our password, of course. And then when we hit enter, it's going to start up our SHAMP server. And to verify that it's fired up, we could bring up another tab and just type in localhost, just like so, and then hit enter. And you should see a page that looks like this. We're going to go ahead and enter our PHP MyAdmin. And then this is the database test that we were working in. And inside this user database, we have two users, John Smith and Ali Smith, that have created accounts on our application. The sad thing about it is that John Smith and Ali Smith cannot log into your application. They do have encrypted password, email entered, but now we need to make it so that they can log into your application. And that's what this lesson is all about. So if you didn't do it already, you go back to the create the sign up script with Ajax, jQuery, Bootstrap, MySQL, and PHP. And if you follow the video instructions, you create those files, you'll have a secure sign up script for people to log into your application. This particular lesson, though, is going to help them log in and log out. So they log in, they see something, they log out. The first thing that I want to do, though, is I hate messy code. Messy code is confusing, it's frustrating. And then whenever you go back and you start looking over things, you're like, oh, where's this? Where's that? How's that script coming in? And so on and so forth. In the last lesson, we had the Bootstrap examples, and they're great because you could go in there, you copy the code, paste it into the page and stuff like that. But what happens is everything starts becoming cluttered and messy on that page. And so the objective to have a page is you want it to be efficient, and you want it to have call in scripts and call in different things from other pages that are also well organized. If you haven't done so already, fire up your Video Studio Code, VS Code we call it. And if you go to your Explorer here, uh, you might have the option to open up a folder, but we want to go back in and open the folder. If you need these files, you can download them at a1websitepro.com. If you're a paid subscriber, you just go on there, download the files, and you can extract them into your project here. If you're not a paid subscriber, you can go to the video and you can write out all the codes yourself. So that's the benefits of subscribing. Currently, it's just $10 a month, and you get actually all my software that I develop on A Website Pro. You can download, and then the other thing too is you don't have to look at ads. All the ads are off for my paid subscribers. I wanted to make it a real value for people, so that's what we did. Okay, so now here we are in the Explorer window of VS Code. And we want to go to that sign up script, and we want to clean this stuff up. Let's create a login.php. So I got my login.php here, and all you would have to do to create that is hit this plus sign and type login.php, and then you'll have your script. I'm going to go back to the sign up script. I'm going to hit my Control B, and you notice at the top here we have require header, and then it starts the body class. But if we go down to the footer, we have a lot of stuff in the footer that, like this script, we could put it in an external JS script. And then that way we don't have to include this on every page. And then as we scroll down, we can see that we have this footer items that we really don't need here. And we could close out the body in the footer. We could close out the HTML tag in the footer. And we can also bring these scripts in. So let's right click and cut this out of here. Okay, and hit save. And let's hit Control B, and let's go to the footer script that we created in the last lesson. And let's paste that in there. And let's save that there. Let's go back to our sign up script, and then we'll require the footer to be in here. So let's open up the PHP tag, close that PHP tag, and let's say require once, and then we'll see if the IntelliSense works. No, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And then we want footer.php, and then put our little terminator on it. Hit save, and let's go test to make sure that it's working right. So let's go to, bring up another tab, navigate to localhost, test, signup.php. It might come up automatically like mine did there. And then you hit enter, and you can see now we have, our sign up ready to go. And if we right click, let's go ahead and inspect the console, see if we have any issues here. And it doesn't look like we have any issues. Now you might be wondering, well, how did I get my console on the bottom? If you go over here, you can put it on the left side, the bottom, or the right side. Sometimes I'll put it on the right side like this, but usually I like it on the bottom because of the fact that, when you do it like this, it almost imitates a mobile device. Whereas if I have it on the bottom, I can modify that the way that I want. Okay. All right, the other thing that I'm going to do for my paid subscribers is I'm going to have a test after this whole application. If you pass the test, then I will give you a certificate from me, Day One Website Pro, and that way you can use it on your resume. So that will also be for my paid subscribers because I want you guys to do a really good job programming websites because I see a lot of them are just a disaster out there. They're slow as hell. So let's go ahead and programming any application too, whether that be phone apps. Now, the other thing is these scripts, right? These scripts just kind of make the code look dirty and messy. Let me hit Control B. And, as you go down through here, there's no need to have all these scripts in here. So we could grab this and notice it's looking for the submit. After you get this script all made on the page, you don't have to keep it on this page anymore. In fact, you could just go down through here, Control X, copy that out. Let's hit save. Now they no longer have the ability to submit a form. But if we hit Control B, let's make us a JavaScript folder within our application. Okay. Let's just call this JS. And then inside the JS folder, we'll start making files and we'll have them make sense to us. So we're going to make a new file within the JavaScript folder. Okay. And we're going to call this signup.js. All right. And then basically, we're just going to paste that script right in there. Now, it's already JavaScript, so you don't have to surround it with the script tags in here. Okay. You just put the script part of it. Now, let's go back to the sign up. And then right here, the script tag. Notice if we go to the footer, I'm going to show you something. So notice how this script is brought in. Let me hit Control B. In fact, let me just take this entire script tag. Oops. Copy. Let's go ahead and close that out. Go back to our signup.php. And this script tag right here, we're just going to paste in our other script tag. And all we have to do is change the path, right? So it's JS/signup.js. And that'll bring that script in there and kind of make make it look a lot better. Remember, less is more whenever it comes to programming. Less is more. That's what you want to keep thinking in your head. Now, if I hit Control B, I could check to make sure that JS signup.js is right there. See? Now, let's go ahead and go back to the signup script. Let's hit F5 and refresh. Notice we still don't have any console errors. So let's go ahead and sign up somebody else. Jack Smack. Okay, old Jack Smack. His email address is jack@a1soul.com. His password is abc123. And we'll just go ahead and click sign up. We see that his sign up was successful. So the code is optimized. You don't have all that stuff, unnecessary stuff in there. And we have the header and the footer requiring the header and footer. So we still have all the code in there that we need. Now let's make a login script, if you haven't already, this login.php. And we're just going to grab this sign up script, hit Control A, Control C, and we're just going to paste it into the login script. And what we're going to do here is we're going to modify it so that the person enters their email address as their username and then the password. We know that the email addresses all have to be unique, as we discussed in the last lesson. I showed you how to do that in the database. And so now the person's going to use his email as his username to log in because it's going to be unique, and then of course his password. So we're going to hit save here, and I'm going to hit Control B because I really hate, I have everything nice and big for you guys, so whenever you're looking at it on the screen, you're not going to be up there squinting like a lot of video tutorials that I see. So I like to make things nice and big for you. So this signup.php, we don't need it anymore. But let's go take a look at the login. It should look exactly like the signup.php. So let's type in login.php. And you can see here it is, please sign up. Let's go back to this page. Let's go scroll up to the top. And we see we're getting our header in here. We're getting all these, we're centering it. All this stuff right here is Bootstrap stuff to get this stuff centered, right? This circle, half, and check, I believe that all has to do with the logo. But if you're unsure of what stuff does, so this moon stars fill, I believe that has to do with the the light and the dark, the half moon. So we can actually take all this stuff out and put it into another box too. In fact, we probably should have did that for the signup.php. So all this stuff where it has the symbol, the SVG file for that, let's just go ahead and take all of this stuff out of here. Control X. And we want it to make sense to us. So what folder would we put it in? Or would we put it in a folder? Or would we just create a file? Okay, I've decided that I'm going to make another folder inside here, the main one. And I'm going to call it display, because this has everything to do with the display. And then inside here, I'm going to create a PHP file, light, dark, and I'm going to camel case that, and it's going to be a PHP file. And then I'm going to go ahead and paste that SVG file inside there, hit save. And I don't need the config file up here, for goodness sake. But I have that light dark in there. I don't need the JS file. On the login, now right here where I took out, let me hit Control B so I make it nice and big for you guys. Let me go to the next line here. PHP include, we'll just do the include once, and the folder's display. And then we'll have light, dark, .php. And then, of course, let's go outside of that, close out our PHP tag, take our terminator, put it right there, Dard instead of dark. Okay, display light dark .php. We'll save that. Now let's go check our login and make sure that we didn't lose our stuff here. Hit F5. Oh, it looks like we lost the thing. So there's something wrong with the path. So let me hit Control B. See here, display. Oh, see the light. I don't misspelling. Get you every time. So let's put that light dark .php. So that's now renamed. I like how VS Code renames the file right in there when you do it. So let's hit refresh or F5 here, and look, we got our little moons back, our light dark on it. Okay, and we're continuing to clean this up a lot better. I would like to include this, replace the signup.php script with this as well. So I could actually hit Control A, copy all this, and put it in the signup because I haven't made any changes yet, right? So we'll just save that. Let's see if there's anything else that we can clean up in here. Hit Control B. Hey, guess what? This button and all this stuff, we can actually take it all out too. Because this all has to deal with the light and dark, right? So let me hit X, take all that out of there, and we'll save it. And that's in the login.php. We're just going to come down here and paste it in the light dark, save it, and let's refresh this. All right, now we got this working. So if we hit F5, you can see that we have our light and dark. We could go to the light theme and the dark theme. And the light dark, we just had to make sure that we included everything in there. And so for both our sign up and our login.php, they're starting to get really cleaned up here. So we have this display light dark in here. This main class, this gets everything centered. That's where we get this centering right here. And that's good because if you want to see what it's going to look like real quick on like a mobile device, you can right click and then hit inspect. And then right here, Chrome has a nice little toggle for, mobile. And you can see if we put it down here, it's optimized for mobile. So it's optimized for mobile, and that's all that we need. But there we go. We have our main div, that puts everything in the center. We got our signup.js down there. There's our display div that uses the JavaScript there to display messages. So I believe that we have this as optimized as we possibly can and simplified. So let's go ahead and close that out. In fact, we'll just hit Control A, Control C. We'll copy all that. I already did this before, but we'll just make sure that we have it in our login.php. So let's go ahead and save that. Navigate back to our thing. Navigate back to our browser and type in login.php, and we see that we have this. So let's change things around. Please sign up would be please log in. So let's go to where it says please sign up. Please log in. And ironically, if you hit F11, you go in the full screen mode, hit it again, go back out of the full screen mode, which is kind of good. Like if you want to keep your files open here and then you hit F11, it goes into full screen mode, but hit Control B, you can hide them files, hit F11. So those are just some quick things that you can do to get focused on your coding, which I use a lot. Okay, so now here they don't have to enter their full name, right? Because we don't require their name in order to log in. It's just their email. Okay, so we get their email address and their password. So we're not going to have to we're not going to have to change too much. And then over here for sign up, we'll just put log in, just like so. And we're going to come down here, this display. Let's change this around. Let's make this, no, actually, let's just keep it the same. Because now it's going to require that script, the signup.js script. Now we can create another script in our JS folder called login.js, right? So let's just save this. Actually, we could just go ahead and create that right there, or enter that right there, and then let's copy this and save it. Hit Control B, go to our JS folder, and login.js, just like so. Okay, now we're inside here. Now it's going to be a lot like sign up, so we can actually just hit Control A and copy all this, Control C, and paste it into our login.js. We're grabbing the exact same things, all except for the name, right? So let's go ahead, get rid of the name variable that we don't need. We need the email and the password. And this IntelliSense is letting us know by crossing out name, hey, you don't need that. So let's get rid of that right there. And yeah, let's see here. We need an email and a password. Let's hit save. We hit Control B, get rid of that. F11, make it full screen here. And when the submit button is hit, okay, when it's hit, then it's going to grab the values of the email and the password. And we don't need the password down here either. So if we hit Control and the minus key, it zooms it out. So we'll start using that a little bit more in our VS Code. Let's get rid of that. Oh, we definitely need the password. We don't need the name. And we can see that it's crossing out here. So there's a couple things that I want to tell you. We're not going to need this ampersand in front of email because we're starting out with name. Okay, let's go ahead and save that. Okay, now the only other thing that we have to change in this file, instead of email 1, we could call that email 2 because it's the login. Now, you can put something more descriptive on it, like email login, password login. So when we go to our processor.php file, it takes those post variables instead of the other ones. And you don't have to change anything else because you're using the login.js on the login.php file. Okay? So that being said, now we have to go and grab our processor.php. Okay, I want you guys to have the most secure login script you could possibly have. So our login.js, right, when it gets called in, it's setting these two variables, password login and email login. When that gets submitted to the processor, we check to see if email login has been submitted. Because we want to use our processor file to process a lot of different stuff that interacts with the database and give the user feedback. So one of the things that we want to make sure is that the email and the password have both something entered into them, right? Because if they hit submit and there's nothing entered in, we don't want to execute anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if the email login and the password login, see if those are empty. If either one of them are empty, this means or. If either one of them are empty, we're going to give the user some feedback. Say, hey, listen, you need to fill in your email and your password if you want to get into our application, right? So the next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that the email is actual in email format, like max@a1sold.com. So it has to have that at symbol and the .com at the end. So we use this PHP filter validate email with this filter var function where the email that is entered is then validated. If it's not validated, we're going to echo out invalid email format. And so that'll give them some feedback. And notice that this will exit the script and this will exit the script. That means that the script stops executing, okay? Now, the next thing we're going to do is grab this post of the password login. We're going to store it in a variable called password login. And we're going to make a query, a database query now using prepared statements. So we performed all these tests without even accessing the database. That makes this optimized. That makes it secure in a way. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to select the ID and the password from users where the email equals the space holder. And right down here where we're binding the parameter, we're grabbing the email login. And we understand that that's a string. If we go to our database and we look at the email, it is indeed a string. And if you wanted to make sure, you could always go to structure and you could see, that it's a varchar. Varchars are always strings. So let's go back to users, bring this up. You can see that their password is encrypted, right? So we bind that parameter for email login, and then we execute that statement. And if it's not executed, that's what this exclamation point, if the statement is not executed, then we're going to echo out database query failed. So that would mean that, there was no, that would also mean that there was no email. And then we're going to exit that script if there's no email match. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the result of the statement stored in a variable called result. And we're going to check the number of rows. Okay. Now, if the number of rows equal to 0, that means that user is not in the database. So he put a valid email in, he put a password in, and he's just not there. He needs to create an account. So we're right now, we're just going to let the script know, hey, that's an invalid email or password. Else, we're using our else statement here. We're going to go ahead and fetch that association in the database. And then the next thing we have to do is use the function password verify. Remember how we were talking about the passwords being encrypted? So we're going to grab that row of password in the database. And here you could see we have a row called password. Okay. And we're going to compare it to the password that they're using with this password verify function. And that means even though it's encrypted in the database, we're going to compare those encryptions, make sure it's the correct password. If it indeed is verified, then we are going to set a session variable of ID. And we're going to grab that from the row ID. So that would be this row right here. 1, 3, 4. Okay, we're going to grab that and we're going to store it in a session variable, and we can use this session ID throughout our site, okay, until they log out. We'll go ahead and echo login successful. But we might redirect them to another page, since our idea in the end is to have a newsletter subscription sign up, so on and so forth. We'll probably redirect them to their account where they can manage their subscriptions. Else, now, if it doesn't match, it's going to say invalid email or password, but really it's the wrong password, right? Because if they put in the email and they put in the wrong password, but you don't want to give the people too much information. A hacker could get in here and be like, okay, well, that's just the email. I got the email right. It's a valid email. You don't want to let them know that, hey, it's a valid email, because that gives the hacker an idea. Well, I can hack this email and get the login information. There's different ways around it. Okay, so the next thing we'll do is we'll clean up the resources. We'll close the statement, and then we'll close the connection to the database. And yeah, why don't we go ahead and save this script and try to log in. So let's go to our login template. We still have sign up. Let's hit F5. Please log in. So we have John at a1sold.com. And his password, I believe, was ABC123. Let's go ahead and click login, see if that's correct. As login is successful. Now let's try, instead of ABC123, let's just put some other stuff in there. Let's click invalid email or password. Now let's go ahead and put, instead of the @ sign, we'll put a hashtag. See what happens. Invalid email format. So we're handling everything that could possibly go wrong in our script. And that's exactly what you want. So anyway, let's go on to, after a person signs up, then they get a link to the login page. I tell you, let's do one better. Let's say that somebody clicks on the login and they intended to click on the sign up. So let's give them some feedback here. Hey, maybe you need to sign up or sign up here. So let's go back to our processor.php. And where it says invalid email or password, we can actually say something like, please, or I tell you what, let's just put in an anchor link, and we'll href that. Let's go ahead and close out this anchor link. And let's put sign up. And if it's an invalid email or password, we'll have them go to the signup.php page. Let's give that a class, because in Bootstrap, since we're already using Bootstrap, we can use these different classes to make the buttons look really cool, right? So let's go class equals, let's go button, btn, success, and then btn, lg. That'll make it large. So let me save that. So whenever they come to here and they try to click login, and let's say instead of John, there's Dave at A1Sold, clicks login, invalid email or password, and then they click sign up. So we click sign up. Now we go to the sign up page. Now, David, he tried to log in, but he doesn't have an account. So now he has to create an account. So let's go back to our processor page so that after the person's logged in, we're going to go ahead, or after a person signs up, they can log in. So let's just grab this anchor link here, and let's scroll up to where we have the sign up. See the sign up successful right here? So let's go right here, and we have to use single quotes in here. It'd probably be a good idea, like if you start using single quotes or double quotes, you just got to stick on that because it'll probably mess you up later. But let me go right here. We're going to change this to login. All right. So, and then we'll say login. So after a person signs up, they can immediately click the login, right? So that makes sense. So let's say David, he wants to sign up. We'll go ahead and refresh this page, the sign up page, and we'll say David, and then his email address is david@a1sold.com, and his password ABC12. So let's click sign up. Sign up successful. Log in. Clicks log in. David@a1sold.com. ABC123. Log in. Login successful. Now he's logged in. He's ready to go. So that's great. Now there's one more thing that I want to tell you guys about whenever it comes to signing up and logging in. So a lot of people, whenever they do their email address, they'll have it uppercase, lowercase. And so let's go back to the sign up script. And so let me enter, let's do Ann, okay? So let's say Ann capitalizes her name on her email address, Ann@a1sold.com. So now we have a capital A. Now we come in here and we'll just put ABC123 for Ann, and then we'll click sign up. We scroll down, click log in. Now, whenever she goes to log in, let's say that it's lowercase. She signs in lowercase. Ann@a1sold.com. ABC123. She clicks login. She's going to get login successful. Now, how is that happening? And it's not, even though you didn't have the capital N, if you do capital or lowercase, the login is successful. Well, that's because whenever you go to the login script, what does it do? It's going to use that filter validate email, which makes it, lowercase. So it's going to compare it whether it's uppercase or lowercase. So that's another good way that, where this will help you that whenever you're programming your scripts is because a lot of people use a lot of different funky things, uppercase, lowercase, or they'll use their full name and capitalize their first and last name. So that's another reason why you want to use this filter validate email. All right, one more thing that we have to do before we end this tutorial, and that is logging out. Logging out is really easy. So here's what we want to do. Let's hit Control B. Let's click on one of our scripts here and then hit the plus sign and type in logout.php. All right. Now here we can include our header. PHP require once header.php. Interesting that it puts the parentheses on there and then it'll tell me to take them out. And then let's go ahead and, let's just duplicate this here. And put in footer.php. And here we have to have session destroy. Session destroy, just like that. And then we can echo, or actually we could just put an H1 tag. You have, oh, that didn't tell us in. Sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't. Interesting. Drives me crazy. You have been logged out. Come back soon. All right. So now in our pages, what we want to do is include our logout link. I'll tell you what, let's create a menu that just has links, and we'll include it in our scripts where appropriate. So let's go ahead and click on one of these. We're going to create a new folder, and we'll call this menu. Okay, and inside menu, we're going to have a new file, and we'll call this menu.php. And in our menu.php, we're going to have some links, and we'll get into this later. Ahref equals logout.php and log out. Okay, and we'll go ahead and save that, and let's include that in our sign up script. And let's go ahead and let's put it towards the bottom here. Instead of require, we'll do include once, and then menu log out.php. Okay, so we'll save that, and let's go to our sign up script. Refresh this. Oh, where's our logout? Let's look at our console log, see what I did wrong here. Oh, there is no, it's menu.php. Okay, there we go. Now let's refresh. There's our logout. So it's kind of over here off to the side. We'll work with that later. But we'll click on logout. Let's see what's going on here in our menu.php. href. So this IntelliSense and everything like that is just kind of messing me up here. I'm old school. So let me hit F5. And now that's been logged out. Okay, you have been logged out. Come back soon. So, and now we're going to start learning to deal with those session variables, and how we can have their name at the top and stuff like that. We'll probably start doing an account page on the next one, and it's gonna start getting interesting. But it all starts with a sign up, log in, log out script, right? They have to be able to log in, and now we can start customizing it around the user, because that's what's so important. Because if it's not customized around the user, it's not really going to be any real value to them. So the logins, the sign up, log in, log out script is so important. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I will see you in the next one. We'll be talking about functions, session variables, and interactions within your application.
Welcome to A1 Soul, the all-in-one application for free speech and personal management. Track your inventory effortlessly. Whether you're a small business or just decluttering, keep tabs on everything you own. Ready to get rid of it? Sell it. Stay on top of your health and fitness goals with our easy-to-use tracking tool. Monitor your stats and reach new heights. Pet owners rejoice. Keep track of your furry friend's health and activity. From vet visits to playtime, it's all in one place. Manage your money and budgeting like a pro. Set goals, track expenses, and take control of your finances. Want to say something? You can list and sell anything legal right here on A1 Soul. Join our community where you can express yourself freely and connect with others. Go to a1soul.com today. and unlock a world of possibilities.